Are you ready to rock again? Well, Metal Rocker 86 is coming to you with another album review. This time, we will be looking at one of Britain's greatest rock bands, Led Zeppelin, and their untitled album, or as it's commonly called, Led Zeppelin IV. Led Zeppelin is a British rock band that started in 1966 in London and broke up in 1980. Their genres include hard rock, blues rock, folk rock, and heavy metal. They had released 8 studio albums, and Led Zeppelin IV is one of them. On to the album. Led Zeppelin IV is Led Zeppelin's 4th studio album, and it was released on November 8th, 1971. It became Led Zeppelin's best-selling album and shipped over 37 million copies all around the world. After the mediocre reviews of their last album, each band member picked a symbol to place on the album. It was the fans that gave this album the name Led Zeppelin IV. It ranked as high as first on Classic Rock's 100 Greatest Rock Albums Ever in the UK. It ranked as high as second on The Guitar's Albums of the Millennium in the US. And also in the US, it ranked 4th on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's The Definitive 200, the top 200 albums of all time. The album consists of 8 songs and altogether is just over 42 minutes long. On vocals, we have Robert Plant. On guitars, we have Jimmy Page, and in my opinion, he's one of the greatest of all time next to Jimi Hendrix. On bass is John Paul Jones, and on drums is the late John Bonham. Now on to the songs, starting with Black Dog, which was also released as a single and written by Robert Plant, Jimmy Page, and John Paul Jones. This one is very interesting. It has verses where there is no instrumentation behind the lyrics, and then it goes into an awesome and recognizable guitar riff. This style was inspired by Fleetwood Mac's Oh Well. This song was inspired by a black lab that would wander around Headley Grange studio while the band was recording. But that has nothing to do with what the song is about, as it's about a woman who Robert Plant should be interested in, but he thinks he's too good for her. This was a great song to start the album with, and it really gets you pumped for what's next. This next one is called Rock and Roll, and it was also released as a single and was written by the members of Led Zeppelin. Now, this may not seem like an original song title, but it will have you rocking in no time, with the awesome guitar riffs giving off great energy. The instrumentation also features Ian Stewart on piano. According to Jimmy Page, while the band was recording another song called 4 Sticks, which I will talk about later on, they went into a random jam session where John Bonham played the drum intro for Keep a Knockin' by Little Richard, and Jimmy Page brought in a guitar riff similar to Chuck Berry. Little did they know that it was still recording when they did that, and the basis of the song was done. Their previous album, Led Zeppelin III, was criticized for not being a rock album, and this was the band's way of saying, "We're back!" Another thing I have to say about this song is that it was always paired with Black Dog when I listened to it on the radio, and these songs always went hand in hand. This was another great song on the album. Now we get to the Battle of Evermore, which was written by Robert Plant and Jimmy Page. Instrumentation, we have Jimmy Page playing the mandolin in this one, which he borrowed from John Paul Jones. As for the vocals, we have a phenomenal duet of Robert Plant and Sandy Denny, and she is the only female voice to be featured in a Led Zeppelin song. In the lyrics, there are a few references to Lord of the Rings. For example, the part when they sing, "The drums shake the castle wall, the ring race ride in black," that is a reference to the Battle of Pelennor in Return of the King. This song also references the Queen of Light. That is because Robert Plant is a huge fan of J.R.R. Tolkien. Another awesome song on the album. Now, we get to Stairway to Heaven, which was written by Robert Plant and Jimmy Page. This one starts out soft, but gets a lot harder towards the end, before a tense soft spot at the very end. The song also may seem very long, but that's also what makes it an awesome track. This one starts off with an acoustic soft rock intro that gradually builds up into an up-tempo hard rock masterpiece. This song is about a woman who's always taking but never giving, believing money can buy her anything. She soon finds out, though, that her life is meaningless and money will not get her into heaven. This is also one of my favorite songs on the album. Now we get to my favorite song on the album and my favorite Zeppelin song, Misty Mountain Hop, which was written by Robert Plant, Jimmy Page, and John Paul Jones. This one has an awesome rhythm and the instrumentation is absolutely amazing. It starts off with the electric piano performed by John Paul Jones, and then Jimmy Page comes in with the guitars. The song is mostly about the problems you can encounter by merely going out on a nice day. For example, you could get mixed in with the wrong crowd or you could get in trouble with the police. This song also is a reference to J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit, as it references the Misty Mountains in Wales. Robert Plant really liked Wales and often talked about how much he missed the Misty Mountains and the wet climate. Most people would try to avoid that. This was an awesome song on the album. Now we get to Four Sticks, which was written by Robert Plant and Jimmy Page. The energy gets a little lower in this song. The song got its name because John Bonham was playing the drums with 2 drumsticks in each hand. This proved to be very challenging for them, and the song was difficult to record. As I said before, while they were recording this song, they went off into a random jam session, and that's how the song Rock and Roll was born. While this song did have some really good guitars in it, I will just say this was a not bad song on the album, as I really wasn't feeling the energy as I was in the others. Now, we're going to California, and this one was also written by Robert Plant and Jimmy Page. The tempo here is also very slow. It was inspired by Joni Mitchell's song, California. The song is about a guy who's going to California to get a fresh start, leaving behind a woman who is not right for him, and he's looking for someone who's very similar to Joni Mitchell. With respect to the instrumentation, the acoustic guitar and mandolin are really awesome in this one, and this is a great song on the album. Now we get to the final song on the album, When the Levee Breaks. This song is actually a cover of a country blues song written by Kansas Joe McCoy and Memphis Minnie, which was recorded in 1929. While Robert Plant's lyrics are very similar to the original, what separates the two is the instrumentation, as this one has some awesome guitar riffs from Jimmy Page. This song is mainly about the Great Mississippi Flood of 1927 and people's experiences during those times. This was a great song to end the album with, and it really ends on a bang. So what did I like about this album? The songs were all very well written and very well distributed. Robert Plant does an amazing job on the vocals, and the rest of the band really delivers on the instrumentation, especially Jimmy Page on the guitars. Outside of the song Four Sticks, which could have been better but was still okay, there wasn't really much I disliked about this album. To conclude this, I will definitely say that Led Zeppelin IV is definitely worth listening to. Well, that's the end of this review. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up down below, and don't forget to subscribe and share. Until next time, rock on!